Computer, yes. All right. Thank you, everyone. And I'm so delighted that you are here for another podcast of Welcome to of Officially Amazing. So, welcome to Officially Amazing. This is not a podcast that sells solutions. It's not a platform that's built around one voice. Officially Amazing is a living scientific lab for brilliant communication and collaborations globally. It's a space where scientists, researchers, educators, clinicians, and change makers come together and think out loud, share real narrative, co-create ideas that don't really neatly fit into institutional norms or boxes. Here we explore how science is lived, not just published, how discovery happens at the edges of communication, how breakthroughs are carried by story, resonance, courage, and collaboration, how breakthroughs this platform exists to amplify the intelligence already in the room and to connect minds across discipline, cultures, and continents. If you believe that science is meant to be shared, challenged, and humanized, you're in the right space. This podcast and its pages are inspired by the growing global movement towards open scientific collaboration outside of institutional norms. Welcome to Officially Amazing. Let's build something together. And today I'm just thrilled and honored to introduce my very dear friend, Mary Case, who happens to live in London, Ontario, Canada. So, welcome, Mary, to my podcast.
Thank you, Angelica. I'm very happy to be here.
Okay. So, Mary, you so intrigue me, not because of this award or that award, but because of what you have done. And I know you to be a very talented musician. You're also a triathlete. You know several modalities that I know and that we share in common in practice. And so I just want to run through how is it that you combined your deep love of music with all of these athletic achievements, which are many?
I would say it is neurodivergence in all its glory.
I love you so much.
That's how I put it. I mean, ADD, ADHD, OCD, autism spectrum, all in one beautiful package. So we're always moving, we're always changing. And so we find, and I say we because it's not just me, it's other people that I work with, that all of these things integrate. So be it sport, be it music, be it family, be it business, you cannot really separate anything from anything else. Be it science, right? You cannot separate science and energy and this reality and that reality. There is no separation. So really, I'm kind of the walking, talking embodiment of all of that and the integration of all of that. So for me, whether it's movement in triathlon or movement on violin or movement in bodywork or movement in teaching, it's all movement.
That's what a fascinating concept you've just hit on. I love this because, as you know, I'm a holistic doctor and my integration is neuroscience. So I'm just fascinated that we have already converged in the first sentence to this point. So I knew it would be a fascinating conversation. I didn't expect it to get out of the barn door so fast. So this is great. So Mary, tell your audience a little bit about your journey. Um, did you did you start with like I know you've been play it's violin that you play, right?
Hmm.
And you've
Yes, it
played
is.
yeah, and you've played and taught violin at school boards at schools and also you play for the London Symphony Orchestra, which is very impressive.
Yeah, my career started in university, and I had a double major, which would be performance and education, combining those two. So I went out in the performance world as a professional violinist, and then I also went out as an educator, and it was 38 years in the school system at the art school, St. Mary Choir and Orchestra School in London. And that continues. So I have retired from teaching school and retired from many of the professional orchestras that I might have played with. And I continue to play. So there's always a Messiah, there's always something at Easter. Right
Yes.
now, I'm working on a wonderful project integrating strings into the big band
Oh, that's fascinating.
ensembles.
And tell us about
Yeah,
that a
yeah.
little bit more. So, how did that collaboration come about? And who would have thought to put strings with big band? I mean, that's really novel.
Well, it's very, very fun actually. And the backstory is that my brother is a professional trombone player and I'm a professional violinist. And so
Oh,
there was always this rivalry of, strings versus brass.
right.
And during the pandemic, my brother Carl, he created first online playing with his friends, and they started to bring back to life the music from the big band era.
Band era. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Glenn Miller and
Yeah.
all of that wonderful music. And then as things started to open up with COVID, after COVID, they started to rehearse together and then they ended up creating this band called the Big Bandemic. And was wonderful. It's an incredible ensemble, basically professional musicians. And every concert I went to, I said, "When are you adding strings? When are you adding strings?" So finally, we agreed that this was the year. And so he and I have embarked on this project. And we have had, it's called lifting a chart when you take the music and you have someone take an old version and listen to it and then write it out for strings. So we have lifted the charts for about
Wow.
10 of the classics, Crimea River and New York, New York, and some of
Wow.
those. And now the strings are being added, as would be true to form. I mean, the big bands had beautiful, lush string sections. So that's been my latest project. We had our first rehearsal, and it was really quite amazing to do that. So I get
Very,
bored, right? As soon as you
very.
get bored, right, you have
Yeah,
to
that's
create
it.
something new,
Well,
right?
that's exactly it. You all suffer from ADHD and where's the next fun project to launch from? This is so wonderful. So where does it go? Do you perform publicly? Where does it go?
Well, that particular ensemble, the Big Bandemic, with the strings added to it, we are doing a performance in Woodstock in April.
How
And
fabulous.
and who knows from there where that's
Yeah.
going to go.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but
And
basically the thread here is the thread of what I call the acoustical wave. So it's the acoustics of the music, right?
bravo, Mary. Yes.
Yeah, so whether it's bringing that into your sport, into your body work, into your performances, it's like when we are choosing to function from those acoustical waves rather than the agitation of maybe the electrical waves, then we're in that creative energy.
We're in the creative
So,
energy and friction, literally frictionless and in the flow.
yeah,
Yeah. And this is the spot. This is this, I believe strongly, this is a sweet spot for people like us who are creators, who are light workers, who are bringing not just energy, but I strongly believe healing back into this very frictioned and electrified world. So, yes, the acoustical wave. Bravo, Mary.
yeah.
So, tell me now, because I know you're doing a number of other projects, but before we get to that topic, what I'd like to discuss next with you is the absolute, to me, over the top physical effort with this triathlon stuff. I mean, what caused that?
Well, I was always interested in sports of some kind and working my body. And when I was young, it was always about music. So I was always in the studio or I was always at a rehearsal. And, there really wasn't space to explore a sport of any kind. Plus, I wasn't particularly built for sports. Like it didn't come naturally to me, but there was always like this hidden desire to do a sport. So basically, this came out of when I was turning 40 and I really had a desire to do something
Oh my goodness, at
with
40.
I started at 40. At 39, actually, I decided for my 40th I would run a 10K. And I started from nothing. I could not hardly walk. I would walk for 4 minutes and run for 1 minute. And then built from there. So I got into at age 40 into doing some running. And running, as you know, is fairly difficult on the body. And so I had a few injuries related to running, and I said, I really like to swim. I think I'll start doing some swimming. So I started to do some swimming, and I like biking, so I started to do some biking. And then I realized I could put all the three pieces together and make a triathlon. So there
Oh,
was no turning back. That was 25 years ago, and I've been in the sport ever since.
wow. But at triathlon, you perform at a very, very high level. So how long did it, like, was this a slow progression? How long did this take from you know, walking and running to now we're competing in a triathlon with bikes
Well,
flying everywhere.
with triathlons, there's many different distances that you can do. So there's an entry level, which would have been the first thing that I ever did, which was called Try It. It's a very short distance, and you just do a little swim and a little bike and a little run, and you feel like you're conquering the world. So you start there, and then there's a sprint distance, and there's an Olympic distance, and there's a half Ironman, and there's an Ironman. So there's all those options. And it's not so much a progression because it's different things at different times. So I really enjoy endurance, which is a longer distance. I really enjoy doing the half Ironman distance.
Unbelievable.
And I also qualified for a sprint distance race. There was some qualifying races in Ontario, and then I qualified for the World's event. So now my focus has become shorter distance with adding more speed and intensity to the training. So it's an evolution. And then another year I might choose, okay, now I'm going to train to go longer. I might choose half Ironman again, or the in between, which is the Olympic distance. So there's all these variations depending on whether you want to look at endurance, speed, intensity, it's all available.
So, given that really intense spirit that you have, which is also the same spirit that conquered all of the complexities, because the violin is a difficult instrument, uh, especially when you get to the higher notes. I know a little bit about it, but never pursued, to any great degree. My instruments were voice and piano. So, but I absolutely share your love of I know you call it the acoustical wave, but I also call it resonance. So speaking of today's Olympics, what in their Winter Olympics, what are the sports that you are most passionate about watching?
Well, I'm a big skating fan.
Oh, okay.
I really enjoy
The
watching the
skate
skating.
dance,
What's that?
the skate dance with all the music
The skate dance with the music. I mean, I just really, I'm in awe of all the sports, really, when you look at what it takes
to get
to
there.
be to get there in any of those sports. But I particularly enjoy watching that integration of the physical with the music, right? And the dance component, the choreography, all of the elements that are present in that. In our household, we watch a lot of hockey too.
Yes, and you're married to a man who also does very intense sports. So this would be very
Yeah,
helpful. Does he
yeah,
help?
yeah.
Does he train with you?
We really enjoy training together in the basement for the strength training. So he does all his training downstairs. We have a gym in the basement,
Yeah.
and I'll go down when he's doing his thing and I'll do my strength training. He does not do any of the triathlon components.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah.
I know, Mary, that you're also preparing. So let's talk a little bit about access consciousness work and your energy work, and how did that evolve? Where did that come from?
Well, that again, it's the theme of the acoustical wave and knowing that we are the acoustical wave, right? Everything in our bodies, in our systems, our lymphatics, all the rhythms of our body are acoustical. And when they get out of balance, then it causes stress, agitation, much more electrical frequencies. So I just always had an interest in bodies. And from that, I explored access consciousness, where they had some beautiful modalities, access bars, access body processes. Then explored a little bit further because they had specialty areas that really resonated with me. I love business, so I studied Joy of Business. I love X-Men, which is neurodivergence in all its glory, so I studied that. And so I did all of that, the business, the body work, and the X-Men. And then recently, I have chosen to develop more Mary Case energetics, which is my own style of facilitating and working with bodies. And I still use all the tools of access consciousness and also the bars and the body processes, which I think are amazing.
Yes, I fully agree. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I studied access consciousness, started to study access consciousness and integrated it in 2009. So I was a facilitator in 2012, and but I had also during that time studied the work of John Veltheim, Dr. John Veltheim, and did body talk work. So by the time I got to the body processes in access consciousness, like I was way advanced. I was doing very advanced things. So I really applaud the fact that you're doing your own sort of formulas of facilitation with energetic healing. Yesterday I was and I'm still also working in the school system, also because you know it's it's resonating with me in a different way. I was really endeavoring to get some kind of a clinical trial with music resonance and change in intellectual capacity. I was trying to get that across. That never happened. But yesterday, when sometimes when you're just at the end and you say, "Okay, God, show me," um, I was in a school that had uh, an adolescent suicide the week before, and there was a great deal of grief in that community. And as students started to, and I was in a philosophy class, grade 12, was in grade 12 class all day. And as students started to understand that I was this addiction doctor also, the stories started to come out. And so I want to, for the benefit of my audience and for the benefit of our shared collaborations in X-Men neurodiversity, I want you to expand on this. And maybe there's some students watching, maybe there's parents watching, we don't know, but expand on how, what does Dane always say? About um, being your best self or the self that you think, what if you're not wrong? What if you're not being wrong? Yeah. What if that's your truest gift?
hmm
So
I
talk
always
about that.
I always phrase it as different, not wrong.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So often, and we see this a lot in our younger population, although it extends to everybody,
It does extend
right?
to everyone, Mary. It
We
does.
have these gifts, we have these talents, we have these capacities, which are not always understood or comprehended in this reality. So we're made wrong for it,
Exactly.
or we make ourselves wrong.
Exactly.
And one of those capacities being you have the capacity to be aware. So you're aware of other people's realities. You're aware of the sadness on the planet, of the stress of others. You're aware of all those different energies. You walk down the street and you're feeling okay. And then all of a sudden you get to a corner where people are struggling with addiction, for example, and you have like this, I call it a download, where you
Yeah.
can feel what their body is going through and what they're going through. So often we have this capacity which we turn against us because we don't know how to cope with the intensity of that awareness.
And so with these students in this community who are just so deeply grieving and know other students who are in the same school body, maybe going down the same course. Like what words of wisdom can you share with them?
Well, again, it's getting in your brain different, not wrong, different, not wrong, different, not wrong, different, not wrong. And like, what am I aware of here? What is the energy behind this? Like, what is this? And always to seek help, right? To talk to people, to try to not keep it to yourself or think that something's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You're aware.
Yeah.
And being intensely aware can make you feel sad or depressed, anxious, suicidal, like you just can't cope with this reality, so you're looking for a way out. So it's very complicated, in what we call mental illness, right? It's very, very complicated. And it's not like there's a particular answer for this.
Yeah, I don't see it. Dana always says, don't let the wrongness of you be the strongness of you.
Yeah.
And let the different, and I strongly believe that let the difference in you be the genius you bring to the world.
Yeah, that's beautiful. The difference is the genius, right?
Yeah,
And when we don't make things wrong.
the difference is the genius, and the difference, and understanding that this was inherently God's gift to you, and that as you live more in that space rather than denying that space, because denying that space also serves to agitate the nervous system.
Yeah.
When our soul, like you were talking about, always felt called to do something physically, always, it was always in the back of your mind. See, and people today, with all the changes that is coming through humanity, and all the downloads we're also getting from the cosmic world of solar flares and solar emissions and all of that stuff, those biophotons that are coming to Earth, all of those things that make us different are the things that are our genius. And when we go against the soul energy, this causes a dissonance, like a minor seventh, if I can use that.
Yeah, exactly. Which even a minor seventh can resolve, right?
A minor seventh can resolve.
Yeah,
Exactly
and,
right.
and the thing is, in order to resolve a minor seventh, those of you, we're talking musical terms now, don't worry if you're not getting it.
Yeah,
But really, to resolve a minor seventh out of dissonance is the smallest little step.
yeah,
And then all of a sudden you land, right?
yeah.
So if you don't make the dissonance wrong, there's beauty in that dissonance, and you can go into the resolution, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah,
So if I don't,
that's exactly the course that I was hoping that you would take. If you don't go into the dissonance as being wrong, the resolution is a tiny step. And just taking this tiny step can align your brain, body, being, spirit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so much of this, like not making yourself wrong, not making yourself wrong, not making yourself wrong. So, maybe when I was younger, or definitely when I was a kid, they didn't have the words ADHD, but it was like, Mary's so scattered, would be on my report cards. But when you look at my life, if I wasn't ADHD extreme, I couldn't run a business, supply teach, train for a world event, take care of a family, like all the things, all the moving pieces of my life. That's ADHD in all its glory.
That's exactly it. But Mary, I also, while I have you, I also want you to share to shatter this whole aging myth and share with our audience if you don't mind, how old you actually are, because you did an amazing event on your birthday.
Well, for my birthday, which was 65, I did 65 times 50 meters, which is two lengths of the pool. And that's been a tradition every year that I do that number of lengths. Starting when I was 40, I did 40 lengths or 40 50s. A 50 is two lengths. So I continued that. So, yeah,
So you did 65 times two lengths,
yeah, 65 times 50 meters.
65 times
That's
50
like a
meters.
little over 3 kilometers swimming.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So, this whole ageism thing. So, in regard to your leaving your long and illustrious career at the music school. Tell us now what you've done.
Well, firstly, for 4 years, I actually like retired from teaching. Like they would call and say, "Would you supply teach?" I was saying, "No, I'm living my life. I'm not going to supply teach." And after 4 years, it was like, "Oh, I miss the kids so much."
Much. Yeah.
So I agreed to do some supply teaching. So I have been doing that, which gives me my kid fix.
Yes.
And that's full range. Like I've had kindergarten to grade 12 that I've
That's
been doing
my
supply
day. That's
teaching.
my day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not that often. If I do maybe 2 days a week, it's good.
Picking
Anything
up.
more
Yeah.
than that. And I find it keeps me, if I do more than that, it keeps me from my training, which is fairly intensive. I'm, 3 to 4 hours a day with my sport. And then running my own business, Mary Case Energetics, and I have a new program going, Business in Balance, it's called. It's for mostly women. I do have one man in the program, but basically baby boomers who are thinking that they would like to start a business, like where do you start? And so launching them into business creation and revenue streams so that they can support their passions. So I'm doing that on the side. It's
So
not really on the side.
I know you're doing a joint venture with someone on another course. Talk to us about that for a while.
Well, that's my dear friend Cindy. And every once in a while, we just like to collaborate. So she works with Healing Touch Canada. She's been there for a long, long time. I believe she's president of Healing Touch. And then with my experience with Bodyworks and everything that I do, every once in a while, maybe once, twice a year, we just create a something. We never know what it's going to be. We meet for coffee, say, well, what are we going to do for a workshop? So we have that going on.
And when is the workshop and is it virtual or is it in person or what is it?
That one is a virtual one, and I think I gotta look at my calendar because it's coming up. It's a Monday,
March sometime.
March, yeah, Monday, March 23rd. No, it's actually the 23rd of February.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so it's coming up soon.
Yeah, very soon. Yep.
So that's that. Cindy and I will collaborate, and we also exchange. We love to work with each other's bodies, so we have a wealth of processes and energy work that we can access, and we just get together once every couple of weeks, and we work together, which makes us feel good. So
Yeah.
that's my good
Well,
friend
and you
Cindy.
and it's nice to just abdicate responsibility for a couple of hours and remove the blockages that are there in the body that you don't even know about. So,
Yeah.
do you still do any access consciousness training, or you're totally out of the system, or do you do
No, I
facilitation?
still do. I still, by request, do access bars classes. Someone says I'd like to learn access bars, so I will teach those classes as well as the facelift. And about once a month, I will do a day of body work, like facilitating body classes. So this month, I'm going to Harrow, actually, which is near Detroit, Ontario.
Really?
Detroit, Michigan, but on the other side of the border is Windsor. And then Harrow is very close to that. So I go usually once a month and I teach body processes in Harrow. So that's happening sometimes in Toronto. It's wherever people are interested in a day of learning body work. So I still do that.
And explain to our audience what kinds of things does body work, let's start with access consciousness, because I know that one well. What kinds of things does access consciousness unlock?
It can be anything really, because
Yeah.
we store so much in our bodies, right? So it's just an invitation. Again, you're not healing a body. We never say that you're healing a body. You're facilitating a body to choose something different. They're all hands-on body processes. They're non-invasive, and you just hold these spots and you invite the body to change, to choose something different. It can be very good for letting go of old traumas, post-traumatic stress, many things. I particularly enjoy the vision process, which can support changing aging process, but it can also support you in lifting your spirits. I
Okay.
particularly enjoy that one. And there's one called Vision, which I enjoy very much, with all of our work on computers and, computer screens and just eye strain in general. That's a really beautiful body process too. So I've kept my licenses so I can facilitate those beautiful
Oh,
classes.
that's great. Good for you.
Yeah,
Good for you. Well, I'll
that's
have to pass by for a couple of those processes for sure.
yeah, for sure. Well, we can never get enough of it, right? Supporting our own bodies. So, but outside of that, my baby is this new business. It's called Business in Balance because really what we're looking at with all of this, I realized I have this life of balance, right? Where I don't have to choose one thing at the sacrifice of something else,
This is
right?
a profound note, Mary, because this was not the usual uh, teaching of our time. The usual teaching of our time was you learn one thing, you do one thing, and that's it forever and forever. And of course, as an evolutionary species, and especially today in our very, very fast-moving world, we are evolving and we're evolving at rapid rates. So tell us about this new project.
Well, this really is Mary Case evolving, right? Always
Yes,
moving, always changing. So
yes.
I realized that I've created this business. I didn't really think anything of it. I've created my own business, Mary Case Energetics. And then I started to look at it and look at all of the elements of it. I realized what it was a business in balance where I could run a business but not sacrifice my what I what was important to me with family, not sacrifice my body, which was very important. I was able to find a balance of all of those things and still run a really successful business. So when I started to see it in myself, I thought, I wonder if there's other people out there who would be
Exactly.
interested in the very same thing. And
Exactly.
very quickly, the concept worked, right? I ran a beta project for my very first run of it in November, and that was incredibly successful. And now I'm running my second beta project with another cohort of 8 people. So we're still testing the waters, trying it out. But I think this business and balance concept is going to be a really dynamic unfolding.
I completely agree. I am doing something similar also. It's not called Business and Balance, but it's the same. It's leadership actually and balance, and leadership and the voices of leadership and how they are emerging in our changing world. But this whole issue of balance is really it, and which is one of the reasons I became a doctor of holistic medicine because it's brain and body and being, all of those integrated, and that we don't need to choose one thing. We can be integrated even in our choice of work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
And not buying into this reality's way of doing this, right? That there's this formula that we've been programmed that it looks like this, or you retire from this and then you're gonna sit in the, not to make this wrong. A lot of people do choose, you're gonna retire, you retire and you walk the dog and you
knit,
knit and you do crochet or whatever it might be. That's not wrong. So I'm not saying that at all. And there's this whole group of people who desire so much more
exactly.
in their aging years. Like what else is truly possible, when you perhaps retire from one career and you're 55 or 60, is like you're not dead yet. Right?
Well, and
Got a
and
whole lot of living to do.
and I'm of the very firm mind that the more that you engage brain, body, and being, the longer you live. And that when you are and then when you are mentally, physically, and emotionally aligned, at that point we're in our highest state. As you and I talked about right off the bat, we're in acoustical wave state, which is state of flow, state of creation, which is exactly the energy that this world is craving right now. So
Yeah.
bravo on you. When are you doing that course, that cohort?
Well,
So
we just started cohort number 2, so then probably the next one would be April. But you
how
can
how
you can
long do
contact
these
me more.
how long do these cohorts
They're
start?
3 months. 3-month
And
programs.
how often do you meet?
Well, 12 weeks. Well, there's a component of private sessions. So the private sessions alternate with weekly with, so one week is private coaching and the next week is group coaching. And then there's a Facebook page where we go in and out with Facebook Lives and questions and connection there. So it's lots of attention.
And you still have this lovely student base,
Yeah.
different format.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Once a teacher, always a teacher,
Isn't
right?
that the truth? Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't
And I
somehow
think the
get out
big
of
thing
it.
with me that has made all of this work is that I have a great commitment to combining the pragmatics and the energetics.
Exactly.
Some people try to go with just the energetics and they're not willing to look at like who can support you. Like I have a great osteopath, I have a great physiotherapist, I take supplements. Like those are the pragmatics. I have a coach who can support me with business coaching if I need it. So it's a willingness to look at those pragmatics. Who do you need to set up a website? You don't have to do it yourself. Um, the pragmatics combined with the energetics. So the energetics are what points of view are you hanging on to that hold you back from changing?
Brilliant. Brilliant. Yes. And so I need to ask you uh, a ticklish question, I guess. Are you incorporating AI into any of this training? Have you gone that direction at all?
I have actually.
Tell
Yeah.
me. So tell
Yes,
me
I
about
have
it.
actually. I have found, again, it's all about awareness. Okay, so we're living in a generation, a time when AI is prevalent. We can't escape AI. I mean, when we used to Google, right? We wanted
Right,
to find something out. We would go
right,
on Google. That's AI.
right.
AI is not new. It's just more in our face. So I do use it. I don't use it for my writing. I do my own writing, but if I wanted to, I could go in and ask AI to tweak it or edit it. But I haven't chosen that. But if there's information that I'm really looking for, just like I would have gone to a dictionary or Wikipedia or done a Google search, I will go to AI for support.
Okay, good news.
Yes. So yes, the answer is yes. And yeah, yes. How
So
about you?
I've been training with Kane Minkus, only the top trainer in the world,
Yeah,
and
okay.
so grateful because for me, it was always how do I get what's in my brain out to the public in a cohesive course form, and that's what I've been learning and created some really just recently created some amazing visuals and some course content and so that's kind of my next evolution, but it's always, well, how do you do this platform, how do you integrate this, how do the technology of it has always been, and now I can just go, okay, chat, let me know how to do this.
Yeah, it's very, very, very simple, right?
and then
It
and then
doesn't
I
have to
get
be complex.
No, and then I get the 3 or 4 steps on how to do it, and you do it, and oh, look, it happened. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
It's just, you know what? It's just different where you would have gone to a library or you would have, looked for other resources. It's just a different way of functioning. And like everything else, it's about awareness, being
well, and I
aware.
think and the ethical use of AI and the use of AI with integrity is really an advancement for humanity, if you look at it that way.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know there's cautions of it, I know there's concerns of it, but if you choose if your awareness is that you want to go down the evil route, then you're going to do that. You're going to find a way to do that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whereas if you say, I genuinely want to support humanity, help humanity transition through this very difficult energetic time that we're feeling right now, and move forward with balance, and not just with balance, but really truly with inspiration. And that's the reason that I've really chosen to do um, publication now on Substack and work on leadership. someone said, "Well, are you writing a book?" Well, eventually, all of these publications will become books.
Mhm.
I'm regularly asked by scientific journals to write an article here, send an abstract there, all of that. And I'm trying hard to focus on, what's going to give me the most bang for my buck. I am speaking in Oxford in May. So I'll be at Oxford for 5 days, which with my mentor who has helped me a lot, global in the Global Research Council, and I'm really thrilled for that. So, work continues and it continues in ways that we're not expecting, right? It continues to unfold um, with groups and with people and our dear friends to bring us back to and to facilitate. So I was my initial reason for asking you on this broadcast was because last week I had also a very dear friend of mine that I've known for a number of years who does a lot of work in trauma and organizational trauma, etc. Dr. Sabina DeVita. I did a podcast with her, and I was hoping that one of these days the three of us could do a 3-day retreat on trauma and facilitating the release of trauma through access consciousness and through some of the body processes. I thought that
Beautiful.
would be so fun. Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah, collaboration is always fun, especially when you are creating it through awareness, right? What is going to create more? And, just really being present. And this goes for everything, like really being present with, like, is this working? Is this creating a future? If I choose this, what's it going to create?
Yeah.
Always comes to that.
Yeah, it always comes to that. So tell us what's next in your very exciting life, Mary? When is
Well,
when is the triathlon?
probably the most exciting thing is that I am going to Pontevedra, Spain in September for the Worlds. I'm on the Canadian Masters team. It's an age
Unbelievable.
grouper team. Age group.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Canadian
So
Masters team.
yeah. So in the
Unbelievable.
meantime, I'm practicing lots of hills. I do it on a trainer here in my home. So lots of hill training going into that and a training camp. I'm going to Florida for a training camp in March. So lots of training in the future. So
Physical
that's
training.
coming. Physical training, and then this project I was referring to with the music is unfolding. So that's going on. And then, of course, the business and balance programming and
And there you are, brain, body, and being.
yeah, all of that.
All of that. How absolutely wonderful. Have you any closing remarks to our audience, Mary?
Well, I'm just really grateful for you and for the leaders out there who the leaders in consciousness who are actually willing to step out and show up because now really is the time. The time is now for us to be present, to bring this to our youth. Even with the project I'm doing with the big bands, right? I've invited a couple of younger players into the fold so that they can perpetuate this wonderful music. So it's I'm just grateful for you and for all of our light workers and our energy workers and our visionaries and our leaders.
Yeah. Well, and I love this. I love this because for me, I just became very aware in that sentence that you are striving for legacy and a
Yes.
legacy beyond what's now.
Yeah.
And that's why, we have to, no, no, we have to. We, as a society, I think as we become more aware of harnessing the wisdom of our aging population rather than just, you know, oh, well, when are you going to retire? And my answer always is never. The Queen retired 2 days before she died. Why would I be any different?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
We know a few things.
We know a few things.
We know a
I,
few things.
I, I always say I didn't fall off the turnip truck last week, Tuesday. So and I think it's important to the awareness of the world that we share our light, share our um, share our wisdom and share our experiences. As you said, bringing the practical and the pragmatic into into these lovely learnings, into these lovely um, you know, consciousness awarenesses that we have now. Yeah. So one last comment on acoustical flow, my friend.
Well, we are the acoustical flow. If you really tap into our bodies, we are the acoustical wave.
Yeah.
And in my work, I expand that out. So we have that capacity to take that acoustical wave within us. The trees are the acoustical wave, the water's the acoustical wave, everything in nature is acoustical wave. Everything that's natural is acoustical wave. So, and just you asking that question, you can see my hands move just a little tiny bit
Yes, of course. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I will leave you and all of you with that gift of the acoustical wave, which I feel in my body, perceive in my body, and I send out to the rest of the world.
So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us and sharing your joy in your life. I just love connecting with you, Mary. If the audience would like to find you, where can they find you?
MaryCaseEnergetics.com website or Facebook, Mary Case Energetics, or personal page, Mary Case on Facebook, Instagram, Mary Case Energetics, YouTube channel, Mary Case
Oh my
Energetics.
goodness, you've done the whole gamut.
A little bit on
Lovely.
LinkedIn, not so much LinkedIn, but a little bit on Spotify. You can find me. You can find me out there.
All right. All right. Well, it's just been my absolute delight. I hope it's been the audience's delight. And good luck on your courses in February. Good luck on your training in Florida in March. My goodness. And I will have to have you back either after the training in February and or again either before or after the World Masters. How amazing is this? So my many congratulations to you, dear friend. Adore
Thank
seeing
you.
you again.
Thank you so much for having me. It was just an absolute pleasure.
All right, be blessed.